Okay guys, so here's my third example. Alright, so the instructions tell us to make the exponents only positive. Right now we see that the n is negative and the g is negative. So there are two different ways you could do this. I'm going to show you both. I think that the first way I'm going to show you is by far the easiest way, okay? So what you would do is you would first reduce the 3 and the 9. Remember, those are coefficients. You can reduce coefficients. You can't reduce bases of exponents, so that's important. So we're going to say this and this reduce to 1 over 3, okay? Then we're going to say that the g to the negative 4 is actually negative, and the n negative 5 is negative. So I'm going to leave the n to the 5th where it is already because it's positive, and that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to leave the exponents positive, so I'm going to leave it there. But I'm going to move this negative down here and make it plus 5. So I'm going to take this one and move it down. And that means this one is a negative. It has to go to the top. So they're going to switch places. Okay? So the g now goes on the numerator and it becomes 1 times g to the 4th. Then I'm going to simplify the numerator. 1 times g to the 4th is g to the 4th. I'm going to remember that the product rule says when the bases are the same, I add. So this becomes n to the 10th. This is your solution. So the easiest way to do these types of problems when you're approaching them is anything that is negative, move it to the other part of the fraction so that you can avoid negative answers, okay? Or you could do it this way. You could say 3n minus 5, 9n 5g to the negative 4th. For many of you, this is going to be confusing. This is why I don't suggest you do it. I think you should stick to this. But some of you may understand. If we go back to our rule, we know that x times x, xm times xn equals xm plus n. But if you're dividing xm divided by xn, then you say x is m minus n. Again, please write those down so you have those rules. So in this case, I'm dividing, so that means I have to subtract my like terms. So let's reduce first, and I'm going to get 1/3 for this. Then I'm going to subtract here, so I'm going to say n to the negative 5th times, since I'm moving it to the top, I'm going to say n to the, I don't need the symbol, n to the negative 5th, okay? So this was positive 5, I made it a negative, and I moved it to the top, just like I did over here. The only difference is over here, I moved everything to the bottom to make it positive, okay? The g to the negative 4th needs to go to the top, and it's going to become positive. Now, let me stop before you get confused. This is the negative 5 that was originally there, okay? This n to the negative 5 is this one, and I moved it to the top and changed the sign, okay? This g to the negative 4, I moved it to the top, and I changed the sign. So both of these were on the bottom, and I moved them to the numerator, and I changed the sign. Okay. Now I'm going to see that this is going to be 1/3 n negative 10 g4. But I'm still not done because this is a negative. So I have to go one step further, and I have to say g to the 4 stays in the numerator, but n negative 10 goes to the bottom, to the denominator, and it changes to a positive. And then I remember that 1 times anything is itself, so I now have my solution which matches. So let me quickly recap. When you are dealing with reducing these expressions, these are actually called radical expressions, okay, because they are ratios. So we're going to, rational expressions, because they're ratios. So we're reducing rational expressions. We're going to reduce the coefficient first. Then we're going to put anything that is, any variable that has a negative exponent in the other portion of the fraction. If it's in the numerator and it's negative, put it on the denominator and change it to positive. If it's in the denominator and it's negative, move it to the numerator and make it positive. So we reduced, we got 1/3. We took the n to the negative 5 and we changed it to positive 5. Now I have both n's on the bottom. The g negative 4, we moved it to the numerator and we made it positive. Then I simplified 5 plus 5 and I got 10. I took off the 1 because 1 times anything is itself. Over here, the difference is I didn't move my exponents and change the signs. Instead, I said this is 1/3. Then I took everything and I put it on top. And I said n minus 5, n minus 5. These signs have to change because I moved them to the other part of the fraction. And g to the 4th. So the minus 5 is minus 10. G to the 4th, g to the 4th. It was negative before, now it's positive. This one was positive, now it's negative. I simplify this by saying 1 times anything is itself. I take the negative n10 and I move it down here, make it positive 10, and there is your answer. It's identical. Okay, I think you guys are probably going to struggle with this. I suspect you're going to struggle with it. It's not a very easy concept. This is going to be worksheet 2, number 1. On the other 2 videos, I did worksheet number 1. If you need help, please don't hesitate to ask me. I am available and I can Skype with you one-on-one. Sometimes it's a little bit easier when you can ask questions, okay? Take care, guys.